Hello, Shaun Thomas, and today I'm going to go over the EGR425 Lab2 um, code. So here's the server code. So with this works is that we have a server and a client, and they communicate with each other and share characteristics so that they know of each other's um, individual blue dot locations to display as a red dot so that we can have a game. Um, where each player is the blue player, and then they see the enemy as the red player. Um, So most of this code is from the previous lab. Um, Pretty much all of this is for just the game itself. Um, and then here's the red dot and blue dot. They both start at um, the same location in both the client and um, server code, but they're inverted. Um, and then here we have the BLE server variables. So essentially this allows for them to connect over Bluetooth. And then we have a server position characteristic and client position characteristics. So that means that we can share the characteristic over Bluetooth, and um, each device is notified of the other device's a little dot. Um, and then we have a corresponding UUID for each characteristic. See, these are some helper functions that are essentially from the first lab game. This warp to random function is actually different. It's a new feature for this lab, and essentially it allows the each dot to randomly go to a different part on the screen, and we do this by having the screen and height width of the screen width and screen height of the M5, and then the current position, its X and Y position is assigned a random spot within the width and height. Um, then I believe these functions are pretty much the same as last lab. Um, so then here's where the BLE um, is defined. This is for the characteristic. Um, so right here, we can update the repetition based on what the client sends, I believe, over here. Yes, when the client writes position, then it gets updated here um, for the server side's red dot to be updated with the blue string or the blue position there. Um, and then here's I guess just a switch case for the um, different states the VLE characters can be in. Um, and I believe this is set up in class for the BLE to connect the recallback. And I believe this part allows for the BLE to be broadcasted from the server so that clients can start to connect to it. Um, and then so here's the characteristic for the uh, server's position of the blue dot, and um, it allows it to be set up right here, and then the client position right here, and then the service is started. Um, and then the broadcasting starts right here. So here's just the basic setup for the M5. Um, so that the seesaw can be found. The seesaw is the joystick and buttons and all that. Um, and I believe most of this is from the same lab last time. And then here the BLE is set up so that the client can connect to it. Um, and then when the device is connected, we start the game. So this is again much of the same code from last lab. Um, but then we have the blue position of the server's, um, I guess, little dot character or whatever, being turned into a string and then being set into the characteristic so that can notify the client. The screen is drawn, and then we have the same logic for if the screen, if the dots are touching, then the game's over, and then we have the game over screen. And then if the client disconnects from the server, you have the disconnect screen. And instead of function, we have a different screen that essentially just runs until a client connects to the server. Um, so here in the client code, we have a lot of the same game function as the server code. Uh, we have the same characteristic code as well, and UID so that the client knows which server to connect to. A lot of the same functions here, I believe. Um, so then here's a notify callback, which uh, allows the reposition to be taken from the server and turned into the reposition for the client to use, so that when the server moves its dot, the client can see the dot moving. Um, and here's the callback for the client to connect to the server. And this function, I believe, is from the in-class code, so that the client can connect to the server. Yeah, this part's the part where you get the service ID and connect to it. And then here's the server position and character UID so that the client knows about it. And then here's the client position's characteristic as well, so the server can know about it. And here's a screen that it's a green screen essentially, and it just pops up showing that the client has successfully connected to the server. And here's the PLE scan just um, notifying that client found the server. Um, Again, this is just a lot of the old same set of code from last lab and also in the server um, file for the seesaw to be connected and the basic game code. Um, and then we have the scanning for server screen until it's and then tries connecting to the server. Then we have the same game logic pretty much here, that was in the last file. And right here is where we get the blue position. We send that over to the server. Um, and then same logic for stopping the game when the two dots hit each other. So that's pretty much all the code that I wanted to show for this, and then I will show a different video for the actual demo of the features.
I mean, it wasn't my job.
If it's connecting and then
All right.
playing,
They didn't tell us some
gonna be
possible use cases until
connecting.
So yeah, just move around.
And so it was. What did it do?
No, crash.
Crash.
Try to get the little joystick thing inside the frame, yeah.
I want to see
And then show
the
like the teleportation part.
what your
All right.
are and what you
And then show the like speed thing, so you do the left button.
which I should have thought about
That should
but
like
yeah, because
yeah.
Microsoft did a bunch of layoffs at one point while I was there.
And then
that was
I'll try to crash now.
Like, well, we don't want
All right, perfect.